All right. Hey, we are live. This is the Enoch Flight School, Modern Day Mystics. This is actually only our fourth broadcast, and it's a subscription based uh, membership program. Enoch Flight School, The Wild Mysteries of God, Modern Day Mystics broadcast. Uh, Fourth one, as I said. And, we just really uh, had a desire from the heart of the Father to create a safe place where people could share their wild and crazy encounters and experiences and stuff and not be thrown out of church. And so I'm not going to throw you out unless you you know, get crazy and want to kind of, you know, dishonor. I love honor
Right.
and honor what we're doing. Stay in the flow. If we're talking about something, you talk about. If we're talking about apples, you want to talk about oranges. We'll probably say, "Hey, that's really not the topic we're talking about tonight." So, I believe in honor, honor in the courts, honor in the kingdom, and it's a very important key. I was talking to Gil Hodges last night. We were talking a lot about honor, how we need to move back into a place of honor,
Hmm.
and social media kind of said, well, that doesn't matter anymore. But we have to be the demonstration of honor. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. I'm Terry Spencer, Revolution Glory Ministries. Some of you probably online with me. We do these every Thursday night. And Enoch Flight School subscription based membership broadcast, interactive broadcast every Thursday night. $10 a month. You get about four broadcasts a month out of that. So it's like buying me a cup of coffee. And we use the proceeds for ministry. And so it's a blessing. When, COVID hit, I structured everything and went online. And so I don't travel much anymore. And I can sit. I got my gym shorts on and my, you know, I went fishing this morning, and this is the clothes I had on when I went fishing. So gym shorts, this, and a ball cap. So that's what you get when you get me. There's no religious structures here. But anyway, tonight, Nina Hayden. Wow. We haven't talked for a while. She's been on with us
Yeah.
before. We were involved in a lot of things together, a couple of conferences here and there, and Florida Legislative Sons Group was just amazing. Amazing things happened out of that. And I don't know where Nina's going to go. I said, Nina, go wherever the Lord takes you, whatever you want. Don't hold back anything. Just let it go. Let it fly. Unbuckle your seatbelts. I like, a lot of people say buckle your seatbelts, but that's kind of a traditional. It's going to keep you limited. We want to fly tonight. We want to soar without any restraints, without any limitations. So unbuckle your seatbelts and let's get ready to go. So, Nina Hayden, I'm not going to talk anymore. I've said enough about cockroaches and stuff like that. That's enough to keep you guys entertained for a little bit. So you missed that. The people who came in late missed my cockroach story, and it's not recorded. So here we go. Nina, love you. Thank you so much for coming online with us, and we're so honored to have you here. And Papa said yes to you spending a little time with us tonight. So that's just awesome. What's happening? What's going on with you?
Bro, thank you so much. Can everybody hear me okay? Just wave and smile, see your beautiful faces. Bro, oh my gosh.
Yeah, right.
Papa has been just, let me say this, the Trinity has been, the Trinity, let's start off with this. Am I good to fly? Are we ready
Fly.
to fly right now?
Yeah, it's Enoch Flight School, so you can fly.
You don't know. First of all, I love Terry and the fact that he has given me a space and place to just roll with it and be able to go where I want to go is so awesome. So I honor you for that. And I want you all just to honor Terry for opening up this platform. Trade into him, find out where his website is. I'm sure he'll tell you, but trade into him. It doesn't matter how small, how big, just show him honor because that's what kings do, right? I don't need to go into that any further. We know how kings engage. Thank you, Terry, for giving me this platform. Thank you, Hashalu Shakodesh, the Trinity, Papa, for saying okay that I could come on because my schedule has been really, really, really strictly administrated by the Trinity. The reason why is because they have pulled me to themselves. And it has been about 60, I would say 60 days of really intense encounters, engagement with the Trinity. They have surrounded me, and it's been the four of us delving deep into the revelation and mysteries that I am now revealing. Let me tell you one thing that's so important. If you want to understand and engage with new revelations and mysteries, you must understand things come with a sacrifice. The foundation of the earth and the realm of creation is sacrifice. Yeshua's sacrifice from the foundation of the realms. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so when sin came into creation and the realm of creation, the foundational principle of sacrifice had to be instituted. And because of Yeshua's sacrifice, we have the court system, right? We have the court system where we can learn how to govern. And we have so much more that Yeshua has said, now greater works than these will ye do. Greater works than these will ye do. What the Trinity has been sharing with me, the greater works, is walking in immortality, transfiguration, and translation as a greater work that is the standard. It is the standard of how we should be functioning as sons. But here's the exciting thing about it. As I've been engaging with the Trinity, they have been teaching me the complete synergy of body, soul, and spirit, and how that correlates to transfiguration and translation, and an understanding of your body, soul, and spirit as never before. Now, you all may think this is wild, but I'm going to tell you, my body has been teaching me through my body's spiritual intellect. Papa said, Nina, you don't have to ask me, ask your body. But that came with engaging in the transfiguration process, learning and growing and understanding. So let me tell you this. I just dropped 2 podcasts on God's Wow's YouTube page. One called Transfiguration and Translation, The Details. It is a detailed description of what we as sons will go through when we engage in the transfiguration translation process to your body, the temple, a walking temple, a walking Sephiroth, tree of life, a walking Sephir, book of scrolls. We have created a playlist of transfiguration and translation. And I was just talking to the ladies, the bench this morning, God's well, wow, Papa has been leading us from the beginning until now, all the steps that are needed to walk in immortality, starting with you are a 3-part being. So you can throw that playlist to someone who is a churchgoer, and it can teach them from the beginning the steps and the process, how to engage in the transfiguration translation process. Now, as I have engaged with the Trinity and Papa with regards to the details of transfiguration and translation, here is what Papa told me. He said, Nina, you are going to have an understanding. I'm going to share with you an understanding, a complete understanding of how the body, soul, and spirit can walk in complete and total synergy. Okay? Complete and total synergy. This is awesome, folks. I'm going to tell you just what my body taught me this morning. And when you start engaging in, first of all, let me tell you something. What I'm going through and learning is creating the blueprint. Do you all know that you won't have to go through everything I've gone through? I'm not even really sharing with you the depths of what I've had to go through. But what I can tell you is the frequency and vibration that I am releasing through the transfiguration and translation process. Papa said, everyone can jump in it. It's like a vibrational stream of frequency. All you've got to do is jump in it, and Papa will honor it. And you can engage in the transfiguration or transfiguration translation process as well. Now, if you haven't heard me teach this, I have taught plain and simple. Everyone is to walk in immortality, transfiguration, some to stay on the earth, as the earth, co-laboring with Papa to eradicate sin as the earth is made new, while others transfigure and translate into the cosmos, the realm of creation, and engage in tandem with those who are on the earth, eradicating sin, co-laboring with Papa, the Trinity to eradicate sin, so that the entire earth and realm of creation can step into its eternalness without sin. Okay, now, but there's things that we as sons must engage with to participate in that process. Here is what I learned this morning from my body. Now, my body is releasing revelatory mysteries and secrets to me because I have loved it. It is a love gift back to me because I have honored it and loved it. So the body will release knowledge, information, and wisdom like your body releases sweat. Come on, y'all. You can walk in new revelatory knowledge like you sweat. Some of you all sweat at night while you're sleeping. So if you're here in Florida, you're sweating all the time. Come on, can I get an amen, Terry? So, so can you imagine walking in that knowledge so often that it just is pouring, it's oozing, it's emanating out of you? Well, let me tell you something. Everyone who is listening to this right now, whatever you listen to, you can walk in this. And it's going to be easier than what I've had to do because someone must create the blueprint. Everybody else can then jump in and be a part of it. It has to do first with turning the intent of your heart to the Trinity to engage in the transfiguration process. All right? Then they will show you and teach you with what I have been able to reveal through my body, soul, and spirit, the intelligences of my body, soul, and spirit. And then you can engage with it according to your scroll. This is what I'm learning. Okay. So this is amazing. All right. So I'm engaging with my body. Let me first say this. As sons, we are learning and growing and maturing. We have taught as sons that our spirit is to lead, with our soul and body to follow. Now, for sonship, that's great. That's a great start. Okay? There's a reason why. And actually, my body was explaining to this. When you first start to engage in the sonship journey, your spirit is a protector. Let's say here's your soul and body. Your spirit hovers and protects your soul and body as they begin to mature, right? Because as your soul and body is maturing, we can't have them leading right off the bat. You know why? Because many of us came out of the church age where a lot of the time our souls were leading. We thought it was our spirit, but our souls were leading and our body was just getting dragged along. In the sonship movement, we have received wisdom where we talk about building our spirit man. Our spirit man then hovers over our soul and body as it matures. But it is to mature. It is not the completeness of how our body, soul, and spirit is supposed to function. Now, there's a Bible verse, Romans 12:2. Write it down. This is the revelation that I received. Romans 12:2. Write it down. It talks about what is the good, well, let's put it this way, acceptable, good, and perfect will of Yeshua, of Papa. Now, I'm going to equate the evolving of our body, soul, and spirit into that Bible verse, except it's missing one more portion. And I love when Ian talks about this. He goes one step further and says the flawless will. So you have good, you have acceptable, you have good, you have perfect, and you have flawless. Come on, stick with me here. This is going to settle in your spirit, and it ain't going nowhere but seed in you. Seed in you. Christians who are not on the sonship journey, they function body, soul, and spirit in the Trinity's acceptable will. They engage as much as they can with their spirit beings. Many times they're praying, they're fasting, they're doing the things they need to do to build their spirit. Very little to mature their soul. They treat their bodies as best as possible. I'm a former Adventist where we were high in the health message for the body, but there's no full synergy between the body, soul, and spirit. So in that case, you see Christians, well-known Christians, pastors, leaders falling meaning falling into sin. It's confusing to some people. Some people understand, how could that happen? Easily. I'll tell you why. Because they're in the acceptable will of the Trinity. They choose to engage in the heavens by way of the grave. It's not a salvation issue. They make it. But they aren't able to fully engage in their scroll because they are connected body, soul, and spirit to the acceptable will of the Trinity. Watch this flow, folks. Watch it. Sons then come into the picture. Oh man, we got some revelation now. We know what we need to do. We need to start engaging with our spirit, soul, and body. We need to engage in the kingdom realms with our spirit and soar. We need to work on our soul and look at the soul perfection process. We need to work on our bodies and speak to our bodies and love our bodies because our bodies love us. Fantastic. That is the good will of the Trinity. It is the good will of the Trinity. Some of you all think, well, wait a minute, I thought I was there. I've been doing all this stuff and I thought I was there already. Y'all hold on to your seats. We are about to fly. We are about to take off. Then you've got to ask yourself, well, wait a minute. The Bible says perfected will. And then wait a minute. We know there's a flawless will. What is this? Come on. My body began to explain to me the transfiguration process is now stepping from what we're learning in sonship and now applying it to perfect our body, soul, and spirit. Transfiguration is the perfected will of the Trinity. How many of us are there right now? None of us are. But we want to step in it. And he is giving us this information now so that we may details how to do it. As a transfigured being, there comes a complete and total synergy. Because how many of you all know in sonship, we're still not there yet. We still got some soul issues. Hello, we're still working on that. You know it. We still have some body issues. Hello, we don't quite really know our body yet. All right, but our spirit being is soaring. Fantastic. And in the sonship movement, our spirit being is hovering over our body and soul as it matures. It is your responsibility through the sonship movement to engage with the Trinity to help your body and soul to mature. All right. When you engage in the transfiguration process, your body, soul, and spirit are fully and completely matured. Got it? There is such a synergy and completeness with your body, soul, and spirit that each entity has this is the best way I can describe it, y'all. When I start getting into this really deep stuff, the English language is very, very hard for me to take English words to explain what Papa is sharing with me, but I'm doing the best that I can to explain it so you all can understand. The spirit, soul, and body are fully able to present themselves as beings completely perfected, all with spiritual intellect. So much so, you can learn from your soul that's perfected. You can learn from your spirit that has fully matured. You can learn from your body that is perfected and fully matured. Now, here is the best way I can equate this. You are made in the image of Hashalush HaKodesh, the Trinity. And in your transfigured state, you are walking exactly like the Trinity walks as a three-part being. Your body, soul, and spirit are perfected and have a spiritual intellect on their own. And together, they're perfectly synergistic so that they engage in who you are as a being. Three, but one. Just like the Trinity. Get it? So then what is the flawless? You're like, can there really be another level? Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Because my body just told me, yes. How do we walk in the flawlessness? Papa said, when we have engaged in the transfiguration process. The transfiguration process is while we are still currently in a sinful world and realm. It is a complete cycle from the fall. Remember, perfected, Ish and Isha, falling, coming around, completing the circle of perfection. Boom, transfigured in a sinful world and realm. But guess what? Every cycle moves from glory to glory to glory. Once we engage in the transfiguration process as a body, as an ecclesia, and we eradicate sin, that sets up the cycle to begin again, and the body, soul, and spirit now engage in the flawless will of the Trinity, a greater glory than when they were first created. Come on now. Come on. Come on. Turn the intent of your heart to step into that. You will receive it. Acceptable, good, perfected, and flawless. Will for our body, soul, and spirit to engage in the earth and the realm of creation. Now, I just got that this morning from my body. I have not talked about this on the podcast I just released. This actually, Terry, I sent him a little message. This is the complete picture. Every time when Papa has me speak on something, he allows me to release the vibration and frequency, and it opens the door to more revelation. Now, here's the thing that's so awesome about it. As each of you choose to step into this transfiguration, translation process, you're going to learn, according to your scrolls, new revelation and mysteries with regards to your body, soul, and spirit. Papa's telling me right now, for each and every single one of you, your body has secrets and mysteries to reveal to you. Only you that, listen, let me tell y'all something. Do you all know how important you are? Do you know how valuable you are to the realm of creation? Do you understand? You're not going to get mysteries and revelations that Terry gets. You're not going to get the mystery and revelations that I get. You're going to get the mysteries and revelations that Papa has for you, for your scroll, with everything that we are engaging with right now. It is unique to you, which means we all have a part to play in the body of the ecclesia, the body of Papa. And if we choose not to do it, Papa will either bring somebody else that'll come in with that info, or we'll be lacking in some way, right? So I want to encourage every single one that's listening. Papa told me this, and let me tell you something, when he speaks to me, I know it. You know why? Because I've engaged with the Trinity. I understand who they are as three-part beings. They are one. So let's talk about this, because this is important. Transfiguration, perfected will. Okay, the Trinity, they are three but one. When Yeshua goes through something, they all do. When Yeshua speaks to you, it's like they're all speaking. Get it? When my body is speaking to me in its perfected state, transfigured, it's like my soul and spirit are speaking to me. Come on now, right? Let's not make this too complicated. So if my soul is speaking in its perfected state, my spirit and my body are speaking along with it as one. Yet my soul can just speak, and my spirit and body can just hang out here, but yet they're all one in synergy and meaning and purpose and design. Now, Yeshua perfects the soul. Mama Spirit perfects the body. Papa grows the spirit. It's in its perfected state, yet it grows even stronger. Yet your body, soul, and spirit in its perfected state are 100% equal in their spiritual intellect, equal in every revelation and mystery that comes. They function as equal beings in its perfected state. So do you see the transition from what we're growing in sonship, and how you step across that line into the transfigured state? Some of you may have a challenge with this if you don't know the intimate, if you aren't intimate and don't know the Trinity intimately as you know them personally, and then you know them as one. You'll notice with the Trinity, they have a different personality, character, they speak differently. We don't try to turn Yeshua into Papa. We don't try to turn Mama Spirit into Yeshua, do we? Then don't do that with your body. Don't imply that the soul needs to act like the spirit. This is in the perfected state. I'm saying this to you because as we're learning as sons that our spirit being is covering and protecting the soul and body as it's growing, we will have a respect for the soul and body, understanding, not quite giving it the reins yet, but understanding it needs to grow and mature into its fullness, to be equal in spiritual intellect with the spirit being. The best way I can say it is spiritual intellect. So you personally have to get to know your three-part Godhoodness, and you'll learn it as you're engaging in its perfected state. The podcast that I just did on your body, functioning and walking, that all was given to me by my body, by the way. Clues. My body wasn't yet giving me the spiritual intellect yet, but it was giving me clues to the fire that was going through my body. And thank goodness, my sometimes you need to get a little nod from your spirit saying, hey, pay attention. Your body's trying to tell you something, right? Okay. And so as I began, oh my gosh, my body's trying to tell me something. And then I began to speak to my body with the spiritual intellect that it has, equal to the spiritual intellect of my spirit being, not going to my spirit being, asking my spirit about revelations, but going to my body. And I could tell in the maturity of the voice of my body, right? For me personally, there was a matureness in the sound of my body's voice, engaging and speaking to me revelation and mysteries that I had never heard before. Now, when your body is working in complete synergy, you don't have, and you are engaging in the transfigured state, you don't have to worry if what you're hearing is of Papa, because it is completely aligned with the Trinity. Your spirit being is aligned with Papa, your soul is aligned with Yeshua, and your body is aligned with Mama's spirit. Do you understand? This is a synergy that every son can engage with. And I'll tell you what really began to work within me. A good son friend of mine, Dr. Larissa Scott, spoke to me about engaging. I also learned this and was talking with Pam and Steve as well, the Vandenbolts, about engaging in the seven entry points of the body with the seven spirits. Okay. Now that had to do with the transfiguration process as a whole, understanding what your body, soul, and spirit is going through. I talk about it in the podcast. Okay. So I'm not going to go into it right now. But as you begin to engage in these points of revelation that I've shared, because, I'm engaging in it. I'm not going to share something I'm not engaging in myself. All right. I'm engaging in it, and to get a better understanding. Plus, this is on my scroll. This is one of the things that's on my scroll. So I'm mandated to share it, and I have no problem doing it at all with the full force of the Trinity, because y'all have no idea what I've been through these last 60 days. Okay. So as you engage in that transfiguration state, you can know. Okay. When you start engaging in the seven spirits, when you see the seven spirits, that elliptical spin around the electrons that are spinning around your protons and neutrons in your body, so that you can shine from the inside out. When you look at your body as it walks in its transfigured state as a Sephiroth, a tree of life, and how that equates to the temple, your body being a temple, walking in the sacrificial aspect that Yeshua walked in. Yeshua says, the Bible says, imitate Yeshua. Okay? This is how we walk as a living temple. We are imitating him, right? Imitating his sacrifice, imitating, sacrificing the intent and the desires of our heart, dying daily. Come on, you all, this is something that every one of you that are listening to this can walk in now. How long it's going to take, I'm not going to tell you that because I'm not Papa. He will tell you. But this is a door that has opened up. You know, when Ian was talking about what was going to happen on December the 22nd of last year, this is an open door. My encounter with the Trinity when they told me to come to them was on December the 20th of last year. And I'm still walking this process, but they've given me permission to share it. And they told me when to share it and what order. I find this is so fascinating. As I want to honor Terry again, because I didn't even realize this, Terry, but I look back, he was the first person that gave me an interview on this sonship journey, Terry, with the courts. I have not forgotten that, bro. In fact, Papa's telling me right now he's going to honor you for opening up the door for me to give me exposure in the sonship movement. He's going to honor you, and he's telling me right now he's going to give you grace to step into this transfiguration and translation process. He's going to give you extra grace, bro. Which means it may be a little easier for you than others. That's what he's telling me right now. As an honor to you for what you've done. This is how we co-labor together in the kingdom. You understand? Not one of us is better or greater than the other. It doesn't matter who we are. It doesn't matter how we function or operate. We are all co-laboring together with the authority and the power that Papa has given each and every one of us according to our scrolls. And it is our duty to be faithful to walk in our scroll. We don't look at Terry's scroll and say, we wish we had his. We don't look at Nina's scroll and say, we wish we had hers. You look at your own, and in your own right, Papa shines you as a diamond, as an illuminary on the earth in the realm of creation to expel from yourself revelation and honor for the Trinity and who they are. You honor them when you walk in your scroll. This, what I am speaking to you right now, takes extreme faith to step in. Do you all understand? And when I'm speaking to you, I am speaking to you. Do you know my soul has no issue, no doubt. As I'm speaking this, my soul is standing in agreement 100% with what my body is speaking and saying. Your body can speak through you, your teferet, your throat, with the altar of incense as a functioning Sephiroth walking in a temple that is pleasing to the Trinity. Most of us in sonship, we're used to our spirit being speaking through us. And I have operated through sonship with Papa, downloading through my spirit being and it coming through me, through my throat. But now, revelation has come that just as I honor the spirit, I can honor my soul, and my soul can speak mysteries and revelations through my Tiferet. My body can speak mystery and revelations through my throat, the Tiferet. I'm like on fire right now, my whole body. This is what I wanted to share with you all. I will put, when Terry's done with this, I will put this, Terry, in the Transfiguration Translation playlist, because this will be the capstone of what the Trinity has been sharing with the God's Wild Bench from the beginning. You are a three-part being. Then we have the podcast on there about splitting soul and spirit. Then we have the podcast on there about soul perfection, right? All the various aspects. Then we get into what it means to transfigure and translate through conversations with Elijah and Enoch. And then my body got so excited that not only did I give it a voice, I gave my body the ability to release revelatory knowledge, wisdom with understanding so that I could relay it to those who have an ear. Let them hear. Those who have an ear, let them hear what saith the Trinity for this time and season. Let me tell you all, folks, this is new. On my just last podcast, I said, when Daniel said the books are open, you are the Sefer, the book that has now been opened to release the revelation and mysteries, because Papa couldn't release all of that back in Daniel's day. There was no platform for it, no understanding for it. There is today. And it is first and foremost the gathering of sons choosing to step into the more that has triggered the cycle of revelation, the beginning of days. The sons have done this. We must honor sons who have chosen to step into it. Otherwise, do you know the cycle of revelation would just keep going around and around and around, and sin would continue to dwell on the earth and the realm of creation for as long as men would allow, and Papa would prevent the earth and the realm of creation from imploding on itself from evil. Because every time we have a cycle on the earth, it's another rotation of birth of mankind who are birthed in a lower vibration and frequency. Do you all understand this? When we choose not to engage, we open up the earth and those that are born into it, into a vibration and frequency that is lower and lower and lower every rotation. It's time for that to stop. We need to not let any being prevent us from stepping into the more, not allow our souls that are not perfected yet to prevent us, because they've chosen or trying to keep us in a box, right? It's time for us to fly. Come on, I love this, Terry. It is time for you and I to fly. To fly. To fly. And anyone that is listening to this can step into this. And don't worry. If you step into this and you are engaging in something that is contrary to the will of the Trinity, you will be corrected. In other words, you cannot engage in the transfigured process unless you are doing it out of the heart of the Trinity. There is no mistake. There is no, I'm going to get deceived by evil. It cannot happen. It won't. Because Papa has put the parameters in place to prevent it. So let me talk about one more thing, and then we can open it up for questions. This is extremely important. Through this, actually, I had a conversation with Mary about this morning. My body started to teach me revelation about living in dual realms. It's so interesting. When you start engaging with them more, you get more revelation. When you see the first translations take place and Papa thins out the veil between the natural and the supernatural, you're going to see, this is what Papa told me. I'm telling you what he told me. Papa said, sons are going to lead the charge. There's going to be an easy walking in and out between the natural and the supernatural dimensions. Papa said it's going to be as easy as walking out your front door and stepping back in. It will not be a struggle. When that happens, the possibility of working in dual realms becomes an actual reality in that, more so than what we've been engaging with now. I'm talking about a complete body, soul, and spirit walking in and out from the natural realm into the supernatural. You all, this is so close to happening. So do not be shocked when it happens. There will be a realization of the application of the duality of the natural and the supernatural realm, because Papa wants to accelerate the process of eradicating sin on the earth and the realm of creation. And he can do that so much easier when we can gauge in and out of the supernatural and natural realm as he designs us to, according to our scrolls, right? So there will be a duality of living in both dimensions, natural and supernatural, at the same time. So much so, when your fellow son translates, there will be no mourning. It will not feel like a loss that they're not around. In fact, they'll be closer to you, engaging in the realm of the cosmos, realm of creation. As you work on the earth, we'll be able to work together in a perfect partnership. Do you understand? And there won't be, oh my gosh, this person's gone, or I don't feel their presence. I want you all to open up your mind to the understanding and the possibility, and not the possibility, the actuality that this will be normal. Get it? It will be normal to be like, oh yeah, I just talked to Nina the other day. Yeah, here's some wisdom that she gave me about what's happening in such and such place. This is something we need to do. Look at what we need to do on the earth. You understand? A perfect marriage. Now, you know, Daniel couldn't talk about that. Papa said, close the book until it was ready to be opened. Oh yeah, it is opening right now. Okay. All right, Terry.
Wow, awesome. Woo! Thank you for the honor. You know, you're using a word, you're using a word a lot, and that word is engage. And coming out of the limited age, I'm learning not to use church age anymore, the limited age, into, I like that what you said, it's not the fullness, but it's the flawless age. How do we engage? And I was taking, Hebrews 11:1 gives us the definition. 11:1 through 3 gives us the definition how to do this. And let me back up just a bit. in 2012, the year 2012, Yahweh began to speak to his revelators how we were moving from the limited age until into the kingdom age or the flawless realm. And so we're still in this transition. We're not in the fullness of it, but we are. And we have to begin to engage differently than what we did in the limited age. The limited age was waiting, contending, tarrying, and pressing in. How many of you have been there? Raise your hand. All of us. That's what we came out of. Now, I honor where I was,
Yeah.
but the glory was ever increasing, and I had to move on. And I heard a couple of years ago, somebody said, don't you dare get caught in the best of the last move of God. Don't get caught in the best of the last move of God. And some of us may be still in there. I chose to radically step out. God said, come away with me, and I did. I obeyed. It's the 8th year of doing that. And what Nina is talking about has been surrender, yielding, losing my life for his sake so that I may find out, dying to everything about me. And it's been wonderful. It's been difficult. And it's not been a lot of traveling ministry, but it's been an amazing time of revelation and encounter and oneness with him as a co-creator, seeing the potential and doing the potential and just being who he called me to be. So in 2012, we began to step into that. And Hebrews 11 says, now faith is the substance. Now faith is a reality of the things we hope for. See, back in the waiting, contending, and tarrying and pressing in, we were hoping this would happen one day. In 2012, the Hebrew pictorial image of the year was a door. Right? If you remember that. So, for by it, verse 2 says, the people of old received their commendation. Wow. The same thing would apply for us today. Verse 3 is the point that I want to talk about. By faith, we understand that the worlds were framed or created by the word of God, so that what is seen was not made out of things that are visible. Everything about you, everything what she is talking about is in the unseen realm and beginning to manifest in the seen realm. It's up to us to walk in faith, to step in through that doorway that was created in the spirit realm in 2012. Now, what we're happening if we're waiting, contending, and tarrying, and pressing in, we're seeing an open door in that Hebrew pictorial image, and we'll go, well, I think I'll sit here and wait and contend and tarry and press in. No, just step in. You don't have to know anything about it. All you need to do is step in by faith and begin to agree with the reality, the flawless reality of who you are, what your destiny scrolls begin to say about you, and we can go from there. But don't get caught in the best of the last move of God. You know, don't be caught in the limitation. We're taking the seatbelts off. We're flying with Nina. We're flying in Enoch Flight School. We're beginning to come to this place where it's. I like what Karina Pataki says. Whosoever will step into this through that doorway into the unseen realm. Now you become a co-creator to create the reality. And what he said, when you do that, that step of faith actually accelerates the manifestation. Waiting, contending, tarrying, pressing in did not manifest anything much. Stepping in by faith, you become a co-creator. You say, let there be light, and all of a sudden there's light. It may take a year. It may take something like 4 or 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, but it may happen, boom. And it actually does, because it's already a substance. It's already reality. And you can see at one point in time, all that is going to mesh together. What you're prophetically decreeing and declaring, what you're saying, what you see in the unseen realm, all of a sudden you're going to realize that all of a sudden this stuff is meshing together. There's a convergence happening. And you begin to say, wow, God, I don't know how you're going to do this with me, but man, it's happening and I love it. I'm gonna keep dying. I'm gonna keep surrendering. I'm gonna keep yielding, and whatever it takes for me to get where He asked me to be. He's encouraged me to just share my life and experience of that alone time with Him, away from everything familiar. And maybe some of you have been asked to do that yourself, and it was difficult because you had family, you had businesses, you had jobs, and you had a ministry. Well, everything's changing. Everything that can be shaken is being shaken. And so if you hadn't been shaken yet, your time is coming. And it's a good thing because we're looking at restoration of our full potential, our flawlessness of who we really are. So embrace whatever's shaking. Don't blame the devil. I don't think the devil's really involved in that shaking process because I will shake you. If you're looking at blaming the enemy, you're on the battlefield, on the earth realm, not in the spirit realm. You're not engaging who you really are and what Papa says, what your triune being says. You're moving in a realm that was out of the limited realm. Amen. So that's all I have to say. I just want to encourage you to step in tonight just by faith and watch what begins to happen. Watch your dreams tonight.
Mm.
Watch what God is going to do in your dreams. You think you have to have an interpretation for a dream. That's the old limited view. You're having more encounters in the dreams than you think you are.
Oh, can I speak to that, Terry?
Yeah.
Papa showed me in the I got one more thing to talk about.
We always called her the jumping bean. When you see her live, she's always jumping like a.
That's true.
She got
Two
springs in
things.
her feet.
Yeah, two things. One, I have a podcast on. I think we do a one on 3 scrolls of purpose: earthly, heavenly, and eternal. Papa showed me the earthly and heavenly scroll merging together for this accelerated process. In other words, it's going to happen, and it will, because Papa wants acceleration, that you will be working out your earthly and heavenly scroll at the same time, which is living in 2 dimensions. I say 2 realms, but I'm talking about the realm of the natural and the supernatural. Let's say dimensions, the natural and the supernatural. So there's a merging together of your earthly and heavenly scroll to function and walk that out, whatever it looks like. But I want to tell you, every scroll is important. The earthly is equally as important as the heavenly, which is equally as important as the eternal, because each scroll builds upon the other. So we don't engage in the heavenly and ignore the earthly. We don't engage in the earthly and ignore the heavenly. We work in both at the same time with wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, the pineal gland, knowledge, the da'at, okay? And we function out of both, all right? Now, let me speak to the dream. One of the ways that we're going to communicate, those who have translated, you're going to be able to engage with your fellow son's dreams. You're going to come into their dream and talk to them and communicate to them. That's one of the ways that you engage when those who are translated are in the cosmos and the realm of creation, engaging and connecting with those on the earth. There's multiple ways that can happen, but Papa said that's one of the ways it's going to be done, right? So when Terry's talking about dreams, you will understand, those who have transfigured will understand how to do that. That's just one of the ways. Isn't that exciting? Okay, Terry, there was a question that I wanted to.
Yeah, let me say something about the dream.
Oh, go ahead.
In a limited state, we'll look up a dream. We'll have a dream book, and we'll look. That's going to be difficult to do because they're going to be so radical, different from what the dream books will tell you that you need to inquire of the Lord what these things mean. So to go straight to a dream book, that's no limited resource. It can be good, it can be used, but we should really begin to inquire of the Lord what the dream meant. What am I encountering here? It's Ian Clayton said, we do more in our dreams than we think we do.
Yes.
So they're actual encounters. Ever since 2012, my dreams have become more intensive encounters than they have
Hmm.
a dream that needed interpretation.
Excellent.
And I'm doing there what my flawlessness does in its perfection. Here, I'm in my limited state, so I don't do warfare in my limited state. I when I have a warfare dream in my flawlessness, I kick butt. I'm a superhero.
Oh yeah, bro.
I've never lost a battle. I've never lost a fight. So one of these days, that's going to merge. and
So
and
good.
my faith it already is because I'm seeing dream after dream after dream who I really am and how the enemy fears me. So I don't fight
Oh,
on the battlefield. I'm off of the battlefield. I'm in I'm in somewhere another dimension.
come
Man,
on,
go
bro.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, you want me to address that one question? There was a question
Sure, yeah.
about, okay, great. It was in the chat and it was um,
It's hard to
about
keep up.
mom has passed away last year on Good Friday, and Holy Spirit revealed to me that she was perfected and interceding in the cloud of witnesses. Great. Had no mourning, only joy. I've not known how to engage with her spirit and interceding for my family, limited by the religious programming that is illegal to talk to the dead. Can you speak to that? First of all, you have to do it. There needs to be a deconstruction that happens
Come on.
to your body, soul, and spirit. You need to be deconstructed. And the best way to do it is communion. Okay? Communion, engage with communion and let Yeshua begin to work on that soul that seeks to bind you with the religious programming. Because honestly, people in the Christian age, people think their bodies are kind of just dumb. Like your bodies are dumb. They're just there. They don't really do much, except jump up and down, fall on the ground, and shake and laugh. Hey, that's great. I can do all that stuff, and I love engaging in, when Mama Spirit's poured out. I love that. But your body's so much more, right? So first, get that deconstruction, and then engage in the heart of the Trinity. Don't be so concerned with engaging in your mama that's passed, that's in the cloud of witnesses, until Papa sees fit to unite you through some encounter out of the heart of the Trinity, and he feels like it's time. It will happen when it's time. We want to be careful. We are not striving to engage with our loved ones who have gone by way of the grave and are in the cloud of witnesses. Now, I said this recently on my last podcast because I want to make this clear as well. There is this notion that if someone doesn't walk in immortality or they go by way of the grave, they've lost everything. And oh my gosh, they're not going to be able to fulfill all of their inheritance. Let's not be so limited in our thinking. Some folks, it's on their scroll to go by way of the grave, but they are in the cloud of witnesses, interceding and also receiving the generational blessing from the line who is now engaging with the now. Their intercession is helping to bring about what is to take place on the earth. So let's honor everyone, no matter how they've engaged in their scrolls, wherever they were in their knowledge and understanding and wisdom of sonship or not in sonship or whatever, right? But we don't look behind us like, you're lost out. No, let's honor, okay? And honestly, folks, Papa's going to make things so clear. And there is so much we don't. Do you know, with the information I've received, Papa said that's just a small drop. Some of you, I'm reading on the chat, you're like, I don't get, my soul's not getting it. I don't get. Look, and it's so great because it's okay. Your spirit's getting it all. And when you're in your perfected state, you'll get everything as you're engaging with transfiguration. But what I'm saying is, we all still, even now, right, Terry? This
Yeah,
little bit.
come on. That's true. The more I know, the less I know.
Right. So let's give each other a break here, but let's step out and walk in what we know and what's been revealed, and let your freaking light shine.
Ooh, come on. Let your light shine. Your freaking light shine.
That's right.
It's freaky. You got a freaky light going on there. Girl, you got a freaky light. Steve got a freaky light going on down there
Oh
in
man, there's my
Florida.
brother. There he's at. I
Yeah,
see him. What's up,
yeah,
bro? That's my brother right
yeah.
there.
I tell you what, man. We're at about a little over an hour. We want to take a little time to answer some questions. There's some really good, deep stuff going on tonight. And Enoch Flight School, this is where we go every week. And if you go to my Facebook profile page, Terry Spencer, you can find a link to my modern day mystics broadcast. I want to invite you to join that. It's $10 a month. Every Thursday night we have meetings. Uh, and we just got started. This is our fourth one. And so it's really a place where people can be free. A lot of interactive sessions going on where we share encounters where, in the limited age, we would be kicked out of church, right? I thought we were crazy and banned. Get away from me. But this is a safe place where you can share and participate with us because we all have different revelation and we make it very interactive for that purpose. So several of you have been on that. John down there and maybe some other ones, but Diana's been there. And it's just a wonderful program. I'm so excited about it because it's just like it's a place where we can soar. It's a place where we can fly, and it's fun to do this thing. It's if we can't have fun, there's something missing out of what we're doing. So, do we have any more questions?
Someone asked if the Enoch Flight School is separate from your patron.
Yes, two different. It works like Patreon, but it's on Coffee.
But is it different? It's different though, right? It's a different
Yeah,
platform.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's on Coffee, KO-FI, and it says "Buy Terry a cup of coffee," but it works just like Patreon. It's cheaper, and I like it. But it's pretty good. The link is on my Facebook group and some of the other places that I have on Facebook. But I invite you to come and join us. Any more questions?
I know.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Donna.
Hi, Nina. I love you.
I love you too.
So excited about everything you said.
What's up?
I'm glad to be here. I'm on my way to Texas. I'm moving to Texas.
Oh, great. There's a lot of saints in Texas.
I'll
Awesome.
call you. Yeah, I'll call you.
Awesome. Call Ruth. Ruth is in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll
Terry,
touch
we
base.
honor you so much because my testimony is the same as Nina's. It was with you that I did the first YouTube on the Courts of Heaven with Ray and Billy Sue Landers in Springfield, Illinois. So powerful.
Yeah.
And Terry, Nina, hear this. Terry invited me year after year after year to come to the glory realms that were breaking out in Reno, Nevada. And I was like, okay, God, I know you're going to let me go. And so God set me up and brought Terry to Illinois. So that's how I connected with him.
Yes.
Amazing. Amazing.
Those are crazy meetings, Now I realize all this convergence is happening. The glory realm, prophetic. I mean, all this courts of heaven, Yahweh's co-creator. Yeah.
Intentional. And that's 10 years ago, Nina. It was
Come
2012.
on.
Yeah.
That's a lot of seeds. A lot of seed, Terry.
Terry kept inviting me. He never stopped inviting me continuously. Amazing.
Now she's one of our admins on Courts of Heaven. Being an attorney, a working attorney, she's one of our admins on the Courtrooms of Heaven Facebook group.
Yes.
And wonderful input from an attorney. Really powerful there. So we're glad to have you and honor you as well, Levita.
Thank you so much. And Nina, is a brand new Texas law practice I'm about to build.
Wow. Good on you, sis. Wow. Awesome.
And Terry, I'll chime in right there. I'm excited to be in Texas already and just so many confirmations. I can't wait to do the follow-up of what I heard from tonight after some other studies. I'm just excited. The scribe is here.
Amen.
Y'all Texas folk, reach out to send us an email at godswow@outlook.com so we can hook y'all up with Ruth.
Yeah, hook up with Nina. I also have a Courtrooms of Heaven mentoring group on Patreon. That's on Sunday night, every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Central Time. The Enoch Flight School is on Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. But both of them are just really fun. We're getting where everything's just merging together. It's all just wild and crazy and good times, and activate people, get them going. And, I just restructured everything about the tier levels and in Courtrooms of Heaven group to be more face-to-face and one-on-one type interaction. So that's a pretty awesome platform.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Ruth, if she wants to, sometimes Ruth does live meetings where you can show up at her house or whatever. I don't know how far. Texas is a big state, but
just a thought away.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be in the Dallas Fort Worth area.
That's where she is.
Right.
right near there. Fantastic.
Amen.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll call you.
All right, cool.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Anybody like to share? Donna, yeah.
Radiant Forge. That's right, Irving. Ruth is in Irving. Donna.
It's so good to be with you guys. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, tonight is so encouraging. It's so confirming. And Terry Spencer and Nina Hayden and Mary, you guys have been so good to me over the last few years while I've been in such a transition and been on such a change. So thank you for loving on me, leading, counseling, pastoring, encouraging, directing. I just want to honor y'all and say thank you. My question is, 5 years ago to this season, I had an experience where I was in the bed asleep. I wake up, I'm immediately awake, and there's an opening in my ceiling and I can see through into heaven, and my body begins to lift up out of the bed, and I get about 6 or 8 inches up off the bed, and I could feel like the holiness, it was so awesome, power of the holiness of God, and I could see lights and clouds, and I was like, no God, not now, I'm not ready. And my body dropped back down on the bed, and the opening appeared 2 other times over the course of about 3 or 4 weeks, 3 times in 2017, 5 years ago to this season. And I've been sensing, and I've been setting my intention, and I've been creating in my place of acceptance and innocence and where he's brought me from in the last 5 years to receive that invitation and that experience. And so my question is there any direction, or is there any reference or any tool? I've been doing a little research on my own. There's a couple of things out there about being taken out of your physical realm in your body. And there's also writings about being taken out of your body, but your body stays. But my body was going with me. And I was the one that stopped it. And, I've cleared up all that with my relationship now, but I was just wondering if you had any direction or counsel or tools that you know of, direct.
Yeah, I do. And the reason I started this, because I had several encounters and still continue to have encounters with Enoch. If you study the lifestyle of Enoch, not just what he did, you'll find out keys of his life that brought him to the place where he was honored in such a great way that he skipped death. And he understood immortality, but most importantly, he understood righteousness. He understood intimacy. He was caught away in ever-increasing times to be with the Father, and that's why I engaged the Father in my called wilderness times, come away with me times, that I began to interact with creation. I began to interact, and some of it was just kind of accidental, but not on God's plan. It was to me, but now I'm engaging more intentionally, knowing that whenever I go somewhere, creation is going to speak to me the message I need to talk about. It's not a scripted, knowledge-based revelation or ministry or message. It's based out of what Yahweh and the Holy Trinity and creation shows me as a totally working, co-creating team, that I can come into a place. Now, I haven't perfected this, but it's been 10 years I've been doing it. And so I'm doing more intentionally now what used to happen seemingly accidentally, but Yahweh was preparing me to engage intentionally with Him and with creation. And it's just amazing how many times in the Bible you see creation helping man fulfill their destiny. And Moses at the Red Sea is a prime example of that. You know, it's actually a picture of the modern day church today. Moses is crying out, "Save me, oh God, save me, oh God." Isn't that what we're doing? Help me. We see that every day on Courtrooms of Heaven Facebook group. And God says, "Why are you crying out to me? You need to understand real quick, big boy, who you are and your identity and your authority, and you partner with you part the water."
Yeah.
And so what happened, there was a four-way, in some of the mystic writings, there was a four-way agreement with the land and the earth, Yahweh and Moses, to co-create that parting of the Red Sea. The land actually and the water actually discussed the fact that we don't want to be held accountable for the death of the Egyptians. And so they determined together, they said, well, Yahweh said it, we're not going to be held accountable. We're going to do what He called us to do. So it was up to Moses to partner with the land and the sea and the Yahweh and do his part to that. And I think that's a huge mandate for us today, is you part the water. You stand up in your identity and authority. You come into that flawlessness, what Nina is talking about, and you begin to operate and function as a co-creator with Yahweh. We're not doing things for God anymore. We're moving beyond that limited place of everything about our life. I'm not just going to say ministry, everything about us.
Everything.
We all have a ministry. So it's like everything about us has to shift into that flawlessness, and that we begin to co-create with Yahweh and with creation to begin to make things happen.
I would say continue to engage in the heart of the Trinity and Papa, as that experience will come back again when you're, before you were kind of, you were getting knowledge, but now you're going to be able to experience it with wisdom and understanding. And then Papa will be able to use you the way He wants to. But that right there was a test, and it was showing you what you could do and what you will do.
Right. This convergence, what I was talking about.
Yep.
That's what's happening. We're being trained. And, you know, me unintentionally engaging creation, God was showing me. And finally now I'm engaging intentionally creation on a daily basis. And, you know, so I learned through the process where I didn't know anything before.
Yeah.
I was having these wild experiences, and now I'm having them almost daily, and in my encounters at night, almost every night.
Darlene has her hand up.
Yes. Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I love, this is an amazing teaching. I love the body, soul, and spirit transfiguration. I'm a registered nurse, and I love the holistic healthcare approach, but this is, I'm telling you that this is amazing. It's right up my alley. But I have a question. So as we're becoming one, our particles are being transformed, and our body, soul, and our spirit are becoming more in tune with heaven. How in the world, and this is a legit question.
Sure.
How in the world do we navigate this earthly realm? I'm sure all of us experience this, but how in the world? Because sometimes you don't want to be no earthly good, but I know even in functioning in the capacity of my job, I feel like there's no grace to do anything. Sometimes I feel like my mind is not here, my body's changing. You know, I'll be talking to people, and I really don't even hear what they're saying. and I feel crazy and psychotic half of the
get
time.
it.
And I'm like, how can we function? I need practical solutions to this.
Darlene, this is so great. You're not the only person that has asked that question. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Carrie's like, that's me. What grounds you to your earthly scroll is knowing what's on it and being obedient, knowing that first and foremost, obedience to what Papa has given you to do on your earthly scroll will then allow you to engage in your heavenly scroll. So when you know that you know that you know that Papa says, I need you here in the hospital for one more year, or whatever the case is, or you are doing exactly what I need you to do, then you say, okay, Trinity, give me the grace to walk this out as long as I need to until it's time for me to transition into something else. Give me the perspective that I need. Let me tell you something, Darlene. One of the things that was extremely challenging for me is that, as I talk about in the Transfiguration podcast, there's a heart scourging that goes on. In other words, your heart is scourged to align with the will of the Trinity. And we sometimes, when we're walking in our soul, of course, we want to jump. We want to get out of here. I mean, who wants to stay in a sinful place? But if you are obedient to the Trinity, first and foremost, because you will get your desire, transfiguration and translation, you will get the desire when you are aligned exactly to the purposes and to the will, because nobody's going to transition or translate before Papa allows, because you're going to be going up there doing crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? You're not even going to be able to connect. So, Darlene, this is a heart matter that you engage with the Trinity about. You explain to them exactly how you're feeling, and you say, I need the grace. Show me if where I am, if this is right on my scroll and right where I'm supposed to be, then I ask you for the grace. And sometimes, Darlene, the very fact that we're somewhere that we don't want to be is purposeful.
Yes.
Engaging in the duality of both realms, it's purposeful. There's a reason why Papa is allowing you to go through it. And what we don't understand is all the time it has to do with what we're going to step into next, because that feeling of being uncomfortable and going through difficult and challenging times is actually the thing you need to engage and experience, that you can have authority and power when it's time for you to engage fully in the things of the kingdom realm, because you've gone through it on earth. If you skip the earth process, you then have lack of authority in Papa's kingdom to do the things you need to do. So you must fulfill the earth process. So Darlene, I think for you is perspective. Okay. It's perspective. It is seeking, no matter what, to align your heart to the will of the Trinity. And if I have to be here, I am. Then it's asking for the grace. And then it's saying, okay, sometimes I'm not even here, I'm not even there. What should I be doing? Maybe when somebody's trying to talk to me, I should be just surrounding them with my spirit being, or what are some of the things? And actually, honestly, folks, being okay with being different. Sometimes this happens. Sometimes when we're engaging because we're transfiguring or we're going through this process, sometimes literally we're not all, when you're engaging with a higher frequency, the lower frequency can seem very difficult. Writing and speaking and engaging, but Papa will give us the grace to do exactly what you need to fulfill your earthly scroll. Has this been helpful for you? I want to know that.
Yeah. I'd like to share a little bit from a different perspective, but saying the same thing. The question is, I want to ask each one of you is, when do you start eternity? Yeah. Are you in eternity now, or does it happen when you die?
We've been in eternity for all of eternity.
Yeah, so he knew you before the foundation of the world. So you're in eternity then, you're in eternity now, and you're going to be in eternity then. So what you're doing here is probably on your scrolls, whether you know it or not, because you're still here doing what you're doing. And sometimes there's a frustration because this is not spiritual, but it is.
Yes,
In
Terry. Oh,
just a
sorry.
minute, in the eternal
Okay.
realms, everything is on purpose. So you're being trained for what you're going to do in the rest of eternity. And it's kind of like, to me, when I understood that, there's more peace in my soul about that. You're being trained for what you're going to do from before the foundation of the world. And so I have to be faithful with a little, even if I get frustrated and disappointed and confused sometimes and don't understand it. I have to be faithful with that because God has you placed just exactly where he has you placed. And so if we're kicking and screaming, we might be kicking and screaming and fighting against Yahweh. And so that's some things we have to settle in our inner being about where we are and what we're doing. But you're doing probably what is written on your scrolls because you gave your life to Christ, right? So that's just my input. And for me, it brought a lot more peace. Everything is purposeful. I look for Yahweh's eternal purpose in everything I do, good and the bad and the ugly. And then now that I don't necessarily look for a demon, I look for God's eternal purpose. And then there's more peace. I don't fight a battle. I'm a governmental, legislative, and judicial son. So if there is anything involved that have taken me out of that purpose that's written on my scroll, then I'm going to begin to govern. Amen?
Amen. Oh, Terry, I was just going to mention in the chat, someone posted about the eternity that you were speaking about. In Ecclesiastes, of course, it says that God has placed eternity in our hearts. And so someone mentioned that. I just want to say that.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good scripture. So it's there. You're living it. You're the living reality of eternity. Any more questions? We're about an hour and a half here. We need to shut down and let everybody go to Dreamland, Encounterland. So we want to thank you. I want to shout out to Donna Nieper. She's actually part of Dr. Ron Horner's Courtrooms of Heaven group up there. So,
Hi, Donna.
Yeah, connect with her.
We love you.
Ron
Shalom,
Horner.
Appreciate
Donna.
all that you do, Donna.
Connect with
Hello.
everybody. Just everybody connect with everybody. Just make it all one big family deal. It is anyway.
We are family.
Yeah, so thank you very much. You guys, thank you for joining me. A wonderful, wonderful conversation. I'll have the recording up in the morning, and I'll share it with Nina. And it'll be on my Modern Day Mystics broadcast as well, and some of the other programs and platforms that I share. So glad to see all you smiley people, glory realm dwellers, flyers, flyers, just be bold. The kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. Don't be passive anymore. Just step in and watch where Yahweh takes you, and what he allows you to experience is going to be incredible, and more incredible as that little circle that Nina says, from glory to ever increasing glory. Everything is going to get gooder and gooder and gooder as we go with Yahweh. Amen. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thursday
Nina.
night.
Love you
Thank
all.
you, Terry.
Love
Bye.
you all.
Love
you.
you.
Thank
Love
you,
you
Nina
all.
and Terry.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.